All right. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Paul Traney here, and we're going to dive into this all about getting started in Adobe XD. And if you are joining me on, if you're joining me on YouTube, hop over to behance.net/live because I have two chats open. I can't keep track of both. If you could go over there, that would be great. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Yes, it is a fantastic splash screen. I hope you like this. I have a lot to cover. That's why I'm kind of diving into this overview, but I'm going to talk about why I'm talking about this in a second. So again, I can see you on YouTube, Gabby, Eric, Hanan. If you could hop over to behance.net /live, that would be great. Be great to have you. Good morning, Jason and Paul and Trisha. Yes, the animation is fantastic. So we're going to dive into this right now. Welcome, everyone. And again, why are we doing this? Well, if we kind of take a look, we have a UX and UI week happening. So we have James, Alex, and Kevin Lee joining us tomorrow. Tuesday through Thursday is when all this is going down, and would love to have you join us the next 3 days. But that's basically UX UI week this week with these fantastic people. I'm going to share my screen in a second just because I want to give them a little bit better shout out and kind of show off some of their work. Just excuse me, just really fast, if you don't mind. Let me just move that up. Excuse me. Sorry. So fantastic. Let's do this. So these are some of the people. I can kind of click through James HSU. I don't know how to say his last name, but here's some of his work. You can find him on Behance. I could always post that in chat. But you can see his awesome work. I think he does a good job because you can see some of the work he does. As you can see right over here, he worked on this project right here, okay? But these look really awesome. He's obviously giving a shout out to others. That's actually a team of 3 people put together that project. But again, we can dive into each one of these if we care to. I encourage you to on your own time. This is where we get some inspiration on Behance, Behance.net. We can check out Alex's website. You can see it right here as well. Check out his work. And then we have Kevin Lee. But we have 3 days with these fantastic folks. And yes, they're doing UX UI just like I'm doing today. All right. Minji, hello. Good to have you here. So I'm going to dive into this. It's kind of like the fundamentals of Adobe XD. And it's all about this overview right here. So I'm going to give you an overview of UX UI design, kind of talk about the goals for this app that I'm going to go ahead and design today. And keep in mind, this is a 2-part series. This is part 1 right now. Part 2 will happen later, but hopefully you are subscribing or, I don't know, just tracking us and following my tweets and all that stuff when the next one goes live. Should be in a couple weeks. All right, we're going to dive into this. We're going to review apps as well. We're going to get into designing those graphics and then also not only individual icons, but developing entire screens. And I have 1 hour to do this. So that's why I'm going to dive into this right now as I switch over to my fancy screen. Here we are. And let me just open up a chat. Cool. So let's dive into this. UX Crash Course. We're going to basically do this, all of these various, we're basically going to walk through sort of UX process, plan, sketch, design, prototype, all that fun stuff. Typically, like at the top of this, I would want to talk about the difference between UX and UI. So user experience, like, is going to be more about like how something works, and the UI is going to be more like the visual design, the execution of, honestly, it's like UX kind of comes first and then UI, the design comes a little later. I think this is the best example that I have, by the way, that I like. It's like for years, I don't know if you did this, David, but like we used to have these ketchup bottles right over here off to the side like this one. This is the one we would use, right? And you're sitting there and you're pounding it, trying to get the ketchup out of it, right? So it's been an issue, right? So it'd be a user experience designer that would take a look at that problem and develop this new bottle that's upside down. So it's just going to be, and it's squeezable. It's going to be much easier to get the ketchup out of that bottle. And this is actually a combination of UX and UI. But this is the actual design, sort of like the user interface, like taking those colors and bringing them into view. Oh, Trisha, you are too kind. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, so that's UX, UI. You guys get it? And Faisal, does it work better for PC or Mac? Are you talking about Adobe XD? It works great on both. I'm going to be on a Mac. You can also use Windows 10. And I'll kind of dive into XD right now since you did mention that. I'll get into the project let's get into XD. So here we are. Here's just a glimpse of what XD can do. Essentially allows you to design, prototype, and share, right? So you can go from just a quick prototype to something that you've designed, and you can actually share it with others all in one environment, right? And you can get feedback as well. So there's actually a companion app on my iOS device, which I can actually launch. But basically I can preview content on screens as well. So that's what XD is. I'm going to go back to my project just so I can get started. I don't like slides, but let's do this. Miriam, good to have you here. Ray, good to have you here. And Kevin, cheers, folks. Where's my LaCroix? All right. But you can see right here, this is the project I'm working on. I'm thinking, okay, creating a photo app, right? So I do travel a lot, take lots of photos. There could be something cool around the corner that I'm unaware of that would make for a great photo. So how can I be clued into cool places? There could be a mural right around the corner that I don't know about, but people have already posted images of it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to be aware of those things, right? And honestly, a lot of times when I'm in cool places, I kind of forget to take a photo. When you're really living life, you're oh, I wish I could have captured that in some way. So it's the whole idea of getting notifications and having somewhat of a map to even maybe take a look at and see, oh, these are the popular places around me that are great for taking photos. So that's the idea. Ashutos, hopefully that works for you. Timo, good to have you here as well. Okay, so welcome. I see JA. If you can hop over to behance.net/live, that's the chat I'm keeping track of. Slide content's hard to read. Hey, you know what? It's okay because that's all that text is. I'm moving on, right? The font is a little thin. I agree. So what I've done is I said, okay, I want to make this new photo app. What other apps out there are similar to it? So we have Snapchat, disregard that silly picture of me, and how that works, right? So we're taking a look at Snapchat. I can take a look at those screens, right? It instantly brings you in and it says, hey, you're going to take a photo. It gives you that photo taking ability as soon as you launch Snapchat, which I like, right? Then you have Instagram. Instagram has Instagram stories as well as just posting photos, right? And then the third one I kind of want to mention is Behance. This is a horrible drawing, but this is brand new as well. So Kevin and Tim's aware of it, I'm sure. Kevin, Ray, if you're interested in this. Okay, after the latest XD update, there's no option to view the app prototype in full screen on a browser. We'll have to take a look at that. I'll have to take a look at that when we get into viewing a prototype, because these slides that I've actually been working in are all in XD. So again, I can take this and I can publish that out and take a look at that. But so yes. Oh, something looking pixelated. Let's take a look. Let me just double check, and hopefully there's no... here we go. Found it. There you go. Fix that pixelated issue. Should be okay now. Should be all right now. All right. So let's dive into this. So yeah, these are sort of all the screens that I want to keep in mind. And essentially this, and let me just grab, say for instance, this Instagram image. Grab this one. Tell me if it looks better. Is that better? Should be better. Sorry about that. And then this one. Okay, so this last one I want to talk about is actually from Behance. So on my desktop, we'll switch over. Oh, you don't need to see that. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. Let's dive into this. This is the Behance app. So again, in terms of capturing content, you can see right down here at the bottom. Hopefully you can see this right down at the bottom. There's ability to actually post works in progress. So this is just another way to sort of capture content right down here. Add a work in progress. Okay, so again, this photo sharing idea, as I kind of move this around, this is Behance mobile app, the work in progress capability. So again, I can kind of point it over there. That's what I've been taking pictures of, right? We can see we can capture or pull from the camera roll just like that and then post that way. I'm not going to post it, but you get the idea. So that is Behance.net or Behance's mobile app. And yeah, that's brand new. That's why I wanted to show it to you. All right. How are we looking? Let's dive into this. We're good. We're about 12 minutes in. Let's get this started. This is the simplest way to describe this is a Yelp for photos, right? A Yelp for photos, right? So we want to have a map, and then we want some of these photo sharing capabilities, okay? And basically I need a name and I need to create a logo. So this is all part of sort of designing a screen, as you can see. In fact, I already have this nice outline, which kind of just shows the outline of a phone, but I can quickly sort of draw whatever I want and then start creating in this view. Or what I can actually do is go File, New, and at this point I'm going to create a new prototype, a new design based on the iPhone 6, 7, and 8. So selecting iPhone 6, 7, and 8, here is my artboard that I'll change to the splash screen, if you will. And then from here I can start to, design whatever I want. So I can draw out. Let's do something really fast. Hopefully you like this. Draw something out, adjust the properties for anything that's selected right over here. Right, so I just increase the thickness of that border. We get these control points to kind of round the corners like that. I can, again, still using that square, keeping in mind which size stroke I'm using. It's about 4. We can see right over here. So same thing for this one. Let's make this 4. Give it a little top, and I can actually control whether that line's on the inside, outside, or in the middle of the vector line that I've drawn. Okay, let's draw another little circle, holding down the Shift key and the Alt key, drawing from the center in a perfect circle, as you can see. 4, boom. I might try this. So I've obviously just drawn out, there we go, an icon for our photo sharing app. But I want to edit this shape right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double click on it. And now I can access those Bezier points. So zooming in, I can see these Bezier points right here. Hopefully you can see them as well, just like that. And I can manipulate this any way I want, right? Sure enough, easy, easy. If I double click on it, those Bezier points are going to go away. And then I can kind of drag that down. Because I'm thinking since this is a photo location app, I'm just kind of doing a play off of that. So open to ideas for the name for this. If you care to. Let me know. Let me just open up chat. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Miriam's in the house. She is here, so we can begin. Again, this is maybe working, maybe isn't. But again, I'm just showing you how to create in Adobe XD. If I want to change the color of anything, even this background being white, I can dive into changing that just by selecting the fill in the appearance panel off to the side. Because I'm not a huge fan of just like working on white. I mean, I know it's nice and clean, but I don't know. Just something about it. So this is a potential option, right? Maybe, maybe not. How can we combine these two things? Is there a way to combine this location pin with a camera is what I'm thinking about. Ooh, geophoto. Oh, Taufik. Oh, photo logo. This is good stuff. So again, just kind of start with some text. Text tool works exactly as expected. I can do geo photo just like that. What is unique about XD is you actually get this control point right down here that will allow you to resize that text just like that. And off to the side, of course, I can kind of click through the different fonts. I'm really into this Hiragino Maru Gothic Pro. I'm really into rounded fonts because I think the roundedness kind of mimics the round corners on these graphics that I'm drawing. So I can go with something like that just for a starting point. Let's kind of toggle through some of these others. Taking a look, just kind of tabbing down through all of these. I'm going to be here all day. Excuse me. All right. Not bad. Let's kind of scroll back up to the top. And yes, I should have like a Helvetica light. So those are my two options. All right. Loca photo. Okay, Kevin asks, which programming language is used in Adobe XD to create apps? So this basically, it just creates the design, and then you can output the graphics, and then you can get the specs for all the graphics too. So we're not generating any code, just so you know. Ooh, Philos means friend in Greek. Oh, that's good. I like that too. So I should be writing down some of these. Currently, I'm just going to go with geophoto. This is interesting. Let's take this geophoto right here, taking this word. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to create, check this out, create a circle. And what I can do is I can hold down the Alt key, and holding down the Alt key, I can just grab one point and drag that out. So here's more of a perfect, circle sort of pin is what I've made, right? So maybe that will work better than this one. But again, we're designing in Adobe XD. I'm going to dig into sort of picking apart other mobile apps. And let's do... I can have that, replace that right there. Maybe, just a thought, just playing with this, geo. So this is the hard part. You should never, there we go. We'll do something like that. You shouldn't really replace any of the outside letters, if you will. And, yeah. Cool. Well, welcome, Oliver. Good to have you here from Canada. Gotta love Canada. Okay, so let's go with geophoto. That's all we're going to do. We are going to go with geophoto. I'm doing some designing. And really what I want to do is I want to be mindful of how other apps execute the next screen. I'll actually Move some of these off. Not a huge fan of that one. It's okay. It all needs help. All right, so let's take a second look at this. My favorite shortcut, notice how I'm just using some shortcuts like I would in Illustrator and Photoshop, is I can select these graphics and I can do a Command 3. And now I can see that it'll actually show me that full screen, those graphics, whatever I'm working on. So let's dive into this. Because I need to get kind of inspiration from other places, you know. Maybe I actually want to use Illustrator or Photoshop. Well, I can use, of course, Illustrator and Photoshop. I can sort of grab this one here. This one's a nice one. Copying it, going into XD, pasting it in, and guess what happens? Sure enough, I have control and can access each one of these points. It comes in as a vector item. So from there, just grabbing from Illustrator, moving this off to the side, pasting this in, something like that. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe this will work. That's getting there. Is that better? Tell me what you think. I don't know. Needs help. Maybe I actually need to make this all black. Anyway, there we have it. What if you put the camera icon inside of the location icon? That could work too. That could work too. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these off. I think I am going to go with this one. This is the one I like the best so far, is this logo right here. Let's bring this over. Let's change the color of this font. And that's what I'm going to go with for now. All right. Okay. Make it bigger and out of the camera bottom. Yes, that's good. Like, let's just do that adjustment. Key thing with graphic design, like, you want to make sure you have balance, and like if you're going to have lines, you want to make sure the lines are the same thickness everywhere. So if I shrink this down, I'm trying to make sure this line on this horizontal line is the same line size as this line. Changing that to white, popping that out. Is that better? I don't know. Let's just go with it. Enough messing with this. Oh, it's so hard. This, math is easy. Design is hard, as Jeff Veen would say. All right, so we'll just go with this. And I'm going to dive into sort of more editing. So for this background, I can change that. I can change the colors of these items. I'm going to jump in and change that to white. Let's change this background to another color. And we can see that this one has white in it. So to remove it all together. All right. This is really cool. Ready? Watch me change the fill. If I have text selected or graphics with them all selected, I can actually change the color all at once, just like that. All right. Next up, I want to put an image in the background. Okay, and I'm getting a little bit too far into the design, but I'm teaching you the fundamentals of Adobe XD. So selecting this background right here, or even just drawing out a box or a rectangle, I can go, say, to my desktop, and I can grab an image. So I have some nice images here. Let's grab this one, dropping it right into that box, if you will, and then adjusting accordingly. Send to back is what I just did there. Command 3, and this is kind of what I have so far. All right. I can adjust the transparency. I can do something like that. Looks like the camera's shooting a photo of a hot air balloon. Yeah, it does kind of look like that. So this works, again, just teaching you the fundamentals, but I need to kind of pick apart the other photo apps that are out there. So I'm going to open up these slides, and I'm going to grab a couple of these. I'm going to grab sort of this first screen. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab all of these, copying them all, pasting them in, kind of moving them off to the side. So now I have Snapchat, I have Instagram, and then I have Behance. Work in progress, posting those as well. So I can take these, and I encourage you to just kind of jump in and just start playing with, basically, just like even draw on top of and just recreate Instagram, for instance. So resize this. You know, this screen, for instance, Instagram, this is probably the most popular one, right? So do I go off of this, or do I end up using something like this? So this is Instagram stories. This is also a good place. So I'm just going to copy that graphic. A couple different things I need to do. In fact, copying that, and I'm going to make the second screen. Just taking this splash screen, going to Edit, Duplicate. And now I've duplicated that first screen. Now I can get into this content. This is going to be the photo screen, for instance. All right, how am I doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing, Ibrahim? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, the second screen, this photo screen. I want to like show, you know, how you can take a photo. Like this is perfect. This one right here. This is a good example. Pasting this up here. This is from Behance's Works in Progress. Pasting that in, and let's open up the, probably can't see that, but this is opening up the layers panel. And I can see that this image is one that I've just pasted in. What I can do is I can actually lock down this image. We can do that from this layers panel, locking it down, or you can literally come over here and just do a right click lock. Right, now I can start drawing on top of this. Again, really simple. Start recreating some of these assets. There we are, taking this. This graphic, I actually want to flip it, right? Well, what I can do is I can adjust, I can say 90 degrees, typing that in my properties panel. I've flipped it, and now I've made this little X. Okay, so this is just sort of close out of this view. Let's group that. There's one asset right there, and then there's other assets. We can see right down here. Super simple stuff. Coming in, drawing out this circle. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to draw this circle, and I want a second circle that's just like this one, that's transparent and everything. So I could do a Command D to duplicate. Now there's two ellipses, one on top of the other, and then I can just hold down the Option and then hold down the Shift key to make this second one larger and make sure it's transparent. Right? So there we have this button. Let's turn off that border. And let's even come in and group these together. All right. There we have it. We have this button, and that's all we'll do is we'll start recreating this interface. Super easy. What about creating something like this? You know, these mountains. Again, super easy. Let's turn off that fill. Let's make it white. And let's give it at least a thickness of 2. And doing this really fast, again, everything is actually quite simple. It's pretty much what I expect when I'm designing. As I start to recreate this, I'm going to use the pen tool right over here. Pen tool works as expected. Again, this is to access your photo library. Click, 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 click over there, and there I have basically the photo library icon. And now if I want to adjust these, I can actually just select any one of these points, right? So if I wanted to make this look like a hill, I can double click it, and now it looks like a hill. But I'm going to go with something like that. And lastly, let's just go ahead and give it a fill of white, and that's what I want to use. So I'm starting to create these assets. Sweet. You can drag images directly into shape objects. Yes, you can. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. You're correct, Trisha. So grabbing from the photo library, that's what this icon is. I'm going to group it. Then I have the ability to just like take a photo using this icon right here. And I can see them off to the side, right? I can see this one is going to be the photo button, right? And then this is the library, photo library. Maybe I'll do take photo. But I'm just naming these grouped objects right over here, right? I can see this one here. If I take a look at it, check this out. You want to see this? This is really awesome. I don't know where this is on the stage. This group 8. Well, I can right click on it. Actually, I could just select it and then do a Command 3, and we'll jump directly to where that shape is. So now that I can see that, it's a close icon, and now I can do these other two. All right, to speed things up, it will work in repeat grid. Pretty much anything works in repeat grids. You can have a repeat grid inside of a repeat grid. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Like, I'm going to speed things up a little bit because I want to just kind of grab some icons that are out there. Show you a number of ways to do this. We can actually, this is what I show a lot of people because it's free, but I can go into Assets on my Adobe Creative Cloud and go to Market. And in this marketplace, I can click that little icon for searching, and then I can search camera. Let's do camera first. There we go. We have some various cameras that I can actually work on. From here, I'm going to save this to my photo app, Creative Cloud library. Let's do camera. Let's do lightning. Oh, perfect. Look, this is the flash is off. You can see that icon. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. Click, saving it to my photo app. I'm all on my way. All right. And if you're on YouTube, jump over to behance.net/live. We'd love to have you hang out with us. Yes, Bruno, it is easy to adjust vector points and all that in Adobe XD. Okay, so I saved these to my Creative Cloud library. Even if I go back to Illustrator, by the way, and I have this other camera right here, I can go to this Creative Cloud library that I've been working on. I just made this library. It's called Photo App, right? And all I did is just create new library. But from there, I can grab this asset and drag it right into this Creative Cloud library and sync it up accordingly. All right, so that's what I'm doing right now. Syncing up those assets, that's going to be sort of my main sort of storage area. And when I need those icons, I can go to File, open up the CC library, and then I can grab this camera flash, for instance, and drop it in. All right, you can see here it is. Just dropping it in right over here, you can see that it is linked to my library because it shows me this icon right here. It says, hey, I'm linked to that library, right? Which is cool because I can edit it. I can even edit it in Illustrator or some other app. But if I double click on this, go in here, and let's just kind of see what I can do. Let's just say I want these ends to not be rounded. I can just, again, I'm just making a change. Shift C, get rid of those. But I'm making this edit in Illustrator. Could be anything. And, oh, there it is. And select minus, get rid of that. Shift C. I think there are like multiple points in here somewhere. Let's take a look. Again, this is an asset that I did not create. There we go. That works. Anyways, just made that simple change. Made those ends sharp, saving this file. It's going to save it back to my Creative Cloud library, and then I can jump in. And if I used it in 50 places, it will update, you can see, in all 50 places, because those assets are linked. Shrinking that down, putting it over here, you get the idea. Same thing for this icon. Let's drop this in. And that's what I can do for the second one. Okay, recycle. Oh, if you want to add, oh good, if you want to add an unlinked asset, hold the Alt key and then drag it from the library. Yeah, and I think that will work also in, there we go, I want this icon, reload, in like Illustrator as well. Okay, so let's do this. One more quick change to this one right here, this camera. Let's get rid of that. Drop in this piece, holding down the Alt key, clicking. And yes, it works the same way. Holding down the Alt key will make so it's not linked. Dropping that right here. And what I want to do is I want to make these all white. Okay, so selecting all these assets. Let's make it white, saving it, closing it. Same thing for this one. Selecting those assets, or all those graphics, making it white. And then going back in here, sure enough, here it is. You can see it's updated. It's white and looks good. This one actually has a little bit of an issue because there's a background in there. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to... All right, done, done. I eliminated the whole thing. All right, ungroup, ungroup. There's that. All right, so let's move on. And I'm going to move this into place just like that. Okay, so I'm going to dive into sort of like what's going to make this app unique, right? I'm going to create this one more panel. Again, I'm just going to kind of move a little faster than I've been moving. From my desktop, I want to grab an image. Let's grab this one right here, dropping it, boom, done. Send to back. Right down there, moving this screen over, clicking that unlock button, and now here's my version that I'm working on. All right. This is more of a learning stream, so I don't want you to feel like you're being ignored. It's just like basically it's a good session to watch anytime. There we go. Okay, so let's see what this looks like with a different image. Maybe even this. Actually, let's go with this one, this brighter image. Dropping that in there. I don't want this to be pure black. I want to make it transparent, something like that. And there we have it. Cool. I don't even know how to spell lightning, apparently. All right. Let's do a lot of undos in here. There it is. There's a little icon. All right. Let's just check this really fast. And change this color. Ah, there we go. Had a clipping mask. That was the problem. Wow, there's like there were multiple clipping masks in here. So basically this was like way more complex than it needed to be. Finally, I can finally select those. There we go. Okay, too many clipping masks. That was the problem. This is what I want. Saving this. And we have our last graphic that's going right in here. And if you're just joining me, there we go. There it is. We are creating a photo sharing app. Let me actually share with you the agenda, what I've been doing. Talked about an overview of UX and UI design, got into creating shapes and icons, which is what I've been working on. Used fonts and text, really straightforward there. Importing graphics, you can actually import a whole PSD. You can take a PSD and just open it up in Adobe XD, which is awesome. I've been using CC libraries as well, right? So I've been pulling from those libraries. Those are going to be the green icons. And then also, yes, exactly, Ibrahim. There were millions of masks inside thousands of groups. Dane, you noticed that I needed to release the clipping mask. You probably saw that in my layers panel. That was the situation. So I'm going to use assets from UI kits now as well, because those are super powerful. And I'm going to create symbols, and then I'm going to design with a repeat grid. So I have a lot to do still. Again, going back to our photo sharing app. See right here, this is what we have. We could take a photo. There's more to this one, because what's going to make this one unique is you want to be able to see let's move this over, different files. Excuse me, like different locations is what I want to do. So this is going to be the location screen. So we have our splash screen, we have our location screen, and then we're going to be able to take a photo too. All right. So for this location, I probably want to grab a map. Okay, so this is the experience I want. I want to have sort of a map with little pins on it everywhere where everybody is taking photos. So I'm going to go to location here. In fact, I'm going to go to get UI kits right up here, and you have access to a ton of UI kits. They'll keep adding to, so that's what the more UI kits are. Or you can just check out wireframes. I like the wireframe kit, which is what I'm going to open up now. So yes, Mihuli, yes, I'm going to take this all the way to a functional prototype. But this is part 1 of 2 where I'm just going to be designing the initial screens. So you guessed it. All right, so let's go into UI kits. So these are all the ones that you can access from this menu right up here, the top, File, Get UI Kits. I've already have them all downloaded. The Wires one is one I like. I'm going to open up Wires Mobile. And just like that. Now I can access some of this content. I'm going to take a step back, though. A slight step back, because I've already made some icons. I have this right here, this close, this X button right here. Okay, and these other icons here. So what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to actually drop it into my own little assets library. So right over here, I can open up the assets panel. And then I can add this shape to the symbols area. Click, and now it gets added. So that's typically what I want to do when I start creating, so start adding these various icons, because I'm going to be using them multiple times, adding them accordingly. Same thing for this geo photo. Let's lock this down. Lock. Just like that. So now I can place them in multiple places. So say for instance, I always want to be able to have access to creating or taking a photo. In which case I'm going to use this logo. So I can drop that in right down here, and that can be used accordingly. Or I can take this graphic right here that I'm going to turn into a symbol right down here. This is for taking a photo right here. Okay, so this could be, is this the icon? It looks like I actually need another one, to be honest with you. I just want this one. This is what I want. Change this to white. This is for taking a photo. You want to take a photo? This is the icon for that. There we go. It's going to go right here, but basically I'm going to put it in my library. There's my symbol, and I can have it multiple places now. I can have it on this first screen right here. Okay, so they are all linked, and that's how a lot of these UI kits are made as well. So if I open up this Wires Mobile UI kit, you can see right in here, this is what you're given initially. Yes, that's funny. Tafik, yes, Cindy Zing, I know her as well. So you have all these different artboards with all these different colors, right? And not only that, I can see all these assets off to the side, right? So look at all this stuff. This is like crazy. Crazy how many things are here. Right, look at this, for messaging, for profiles, right? All this stuff. I'm like, oh, you have to have a map somewhere. In fact, look at all these character styles over here and all these symbols, right? So what you can do in your asset panel, once you start creating all these symbols, you can just type in map. And boom, here it is. It brings up the map that I want to use, and then I can do a right click and I can say highlight on canvas. So selecting highlight on canvas, it highlights it. I don't know where it is, but if I do a Command 3, should actually take me right to it. But basically, let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, right down here. Highlight on canvas. Boop. There it is. All those artboards, they get highlighted. And then I can just do my Command 3 to find the screen I want, which is this one, Locations and Maps. Copying it from this UI kit, pasting it in to my XD file, the one I'm working on. Brand new. In fact, I haven't even saved the file yet. So this is what's going to happen once I paste this in. Let's move this over. When you paste in an artboard, it's going to put it next to your last artboard in the lower left. Excuse me, lower right. But this is what I want. Boom. Say actually most of these graphics. Most of them, not all of them. There we go. Here's my map that I want to use. In fact, I'm going to take a couple of these assets. Send to back. All right. There we go. Geophoto, we jump in and I want to be able to see which photos are in here. Like where different photos have been taken. So that's what these little dots are. Just like that. I can have that set up. Geophoto, splash screen. Let's eliminate that. It's going to jump into this location-based view. We're going to be able to see where people have taken other photos, and then if I click this sort of take photo button, it's going to jump me to this screen right here. Okay, I can always close out of it by hitting that X, and it'll take me back to this screen. So that's the idea. All right. Okay, have about less than 5 minutes. And I'm going to click back to the schedule right here. We have 3 fantastic guests this week, Tuesday through Thursday. And that's why we're doing this UI UX Adobe XD stream. And taking a look at my overview notes, we can see that we're using assets from UI kits. We're creating those assets and symbols, and then we can do the repeat grid. All right. Let's do a repeat grid, shall we? Let's just duplicate this screen and eliminate that and create a square. And what I want to do is I want to use repeat grid right over here, right? So basically, once you've taken that photo, you're going to have the ability to kind of like, you could either take a photo or you can pull from your camera roll. So how do you signify that? I want to just show off a bunch of thumbnail images. So repeat grid, clicking right there. Now I can repeat photos across and then down, just like that. Okay, going beyond that, I can actually jump out to my desktop and grab some assets. So I'll just grab, yeah, sure, these photos right here. These are all the amazing photos that you've taken. Dropping that right in here. Done. Propagates on down, as you can see. And I'm not crazy about this gray border. Well, I can turn that off, and that will get shut off globally. Let's have this go from edge to edge. So I can take this and adjust the column width and the row width as well. So this could be my view, right? Something like that. And that's repeat grid for you. That's awesome, Tawfiq. When you use repeat grid, it feels like you're casting a spell. That's awesome. Oh, shoot. I'm not showing my screen. Sorry about that. All right, and the chat's a little delayed, so I'm going to show this again really fast because it's super easy. Now that you can see my screen, I'm going to draw out a square. Right, here's my square. Then I'm going to go right up here to the top, repeat grid. Click repeat grid, and now I can repeat it, the columns, and then the rows as much as I want, right? And I can adjust accordingly. But I don't want just white squares. I actually want to, Tim, you're funny. Grab these photos right here, dropping this in, all these photos just from my desktop, and it'll propagate on down, okay? But now I can jump in and adjust, say, the column width or the row width, like I'm doing right now for these photos. And adjusting this size like that. And then if I double click, I can see inside, since it has these gray borders, actually it's not bad. Do I have gray borders? Do I take them off? I actually think it looks pretty good when I take them off like that. And I can make this maybe so it's like 3 wide. If I double click inside. Oh, you want to see something cool? There are math operations in XD. So I'm going to extend that out. The size of this, the width is 375. I'm going to do divided by 2. That's a math operation. And now I've made it half the size. But I'm going to make it a third, 375 divided by 3, and now it's a third of the size, right? So this is what I want. Now I can adjust the spacing there, and it's perfect. So math operations in XD as well. Yes, it loops the photos to fill all the squares. You're exactly right. And that's good. So this is the start of our photo sharing app. This is part 1 of a multi-part series. Part 1, there's going to be a second part where I do more prototyping and I start linking all these screens together. And keep in mind, I'm always going to be keeping track of Instagram and Snapchat and any photo sharing app on how they execute, performing certain operations, whether it's taking photos or whatever. So yeah, that is the plan. See right over here. In fact, I can click play up at the top right here, and I can see there's my quick little preview. And with one last thing to do, XD. Let's do this really fast. I'm going to launch the mobile app on my phone, and let's take a look here. This is the preview of it on my phone, and I can kind of see how everything looks and see if some of these buttons are big enough, is the idea. So previewing directly on my phone with the XD mobile app. All right, Tom and Ray and Siobhan, fantastic. It is 9:55, and yes. Yes, awesome, Tom. That's right. You have the Behance icon read live on your browser. You're talking about the Behance plugin for good old Chrome. All right. So more on this later. This is part 1 of a multi-part series. And let's kind of take a look at the schedule this week. I apologize. But we have James, Alex, and Kevin Lee in the house joining us this week, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. So tune in, hang out with us, same place, behance.net/live. Love to hang out with you, and you'll get to meet some great people. So that's the idea. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I'm going to just leave this schedule up for your viewing pleasure. And I want to say thanks for everything. Just have a wonderful day.